Welcome to the SBDC's Business Blueprint, where we dive deep into the topics that matter most to you. I'm your host, Jeffrey Beckles, and we're discussing today the cost of doing business in the Bahamas. We have a dynamic discussion lined up with our two esteemed guests. Joining us today are Dr. Leo Roll, CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, and Dr. Tammy Francis, Deputy Director of Core Operations, Actuarial Service at the National Insurance Board. Together, we will discover the real costs and the solutions shaping the future of Bahamian businesses. Have you ever wondered what is the real cost of doing business in the Bahamas? In this episode, we'll dive into the rising operational costs, including increases in national insurance contributions, their impact on small and medium-sized businesses. We will discuss the financial challenges and strategies entrepreneurs are using to stay afloat and grow with the experts. Welcome to our program.
Thank you.
A lot has been said in recent times about the business landscape, particularly as it impacts small businesses. And as the new CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, what has been your take on the business landscape today?
Great, thank you. Excellent question, Jeff. One of the few of the challenges that the business community are having is, as you mentioned, the ease of doing business. Now, when you look at the ease of doing business, we look at the ease of something as simple as renewing your business license and the challenges that entrepreneurs are having with that process. We look at the challenges with entrepreneurs needing audited financials. And so now there's an added cost, if they didn't already have it, for an accountant to have those audited financials. We then look at the rising cost of electricity, as you mentioned. That's an impediment to a business because once there's a cost that increase, it impacts their bottom line such that it hinders profits. And so those aspects are also an impediment to the cost of doing business.
So you'd say then it is fair to say, rather, that the actual cost of doing business is something that even small businesses, startups, entrepreneurs, persons with business ideas must take into consideration before moving forward.
Absolutely, before moving forward or even before expanding their business. I mean, cost is no respect of person. And so whether they're a fledgling entrepreneur just starting out or a serial entrepreneur, as we call it, the cost of doing business is the same across the landscape.
So tell me, from NIB's perspective, what are some of the financial challenges facing Bahamian businesses?
Now, at NIB, while we think that the Bahamas has a robust business environment, our experience, especially with regards to the recent increases, we have seen many persons cry out regards to these challenges. So, of course, businesses will be faced with, or small businesses will be faced with, having to find more funds to accommodate the increases because, of course, as the employer, as I said, each increase for each employee or employer singly, I look at it as persons who are below minimum wage or at minimum wage. It's a mere, and for person, I liken it to a mere Coke soda. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And for an individual who is around $500 a week, I liken it to a chocolate bar. But when I look at it, or when we look at it in totality, you have that employer or that small business, medium business, having to manage more than one employee. So, of course, we understand while we are looking to sustain the fund, we do understand that there are some challenges for some of the employers.
Now, you mentioned the recent increase
Yes.
in contributions. What is critical for us to understand is some people see it simply as a tax rather than an obligation. Can you help businesses, particularly small businesses, understand that it actually is an obligation versus a simple tax?
So I will take it a little bit further. Beyond an obligation, yes, we are mandated by law to pay the national insurance contributions. But this conversation in terms of increasing the contribution rate, it comes up tax versus savings. And we look at NIB, it's an intergenerational pool for savings. At the end of the day, while individuals may not want to, but as you age, when you lose income due to sickness, maternity, unemployment, whatever it is, national insurance is there. So they reap the benefits of it at that point. But taking those funds out, not so much. But overall, NIB, I personally don't look at it as a tax because I know at the end of the day, every day I go to work on my mind and I make sure sustainability of the fund. I want to make sure that something is there when I retire.
So it's actually a system that enables you to receive current and future benefits.
Yes, it
And
is.
it's against that future benefit we make the adjustments today.
Sure.
Well, Leo, obviously, among the other things that are impacting the cost of doing business in the Bahamas, we have energy costs and we have employee costs and so forth. What has been the feedback, particularly from the small business community, on the challenges that they're having staying afloat?
I think you find that anytime that there is an impact to the business's bottom line, it becomes a challenge overall. When I spoke about some of the increases that are happening at present, one of the biggest challenges are businesses are going out of business.
Mhm.
And so that's a challenge for us because then there is no one to really carry on the mantle or the torch for future businesses. And so we're finding creative solutions to assist businesses to get through that landscape. One of them is educational campaigns. There are a lot of things or a lot of strategies that businesses can use. When you think about the costs of importing their goods and services, there are some exemptions that are available, but they don't know that these exemptions are available. And so they get into the pitfall of having to pay for these things when they really don't. As Tommy mentioned, there are some instances where there is payment plans that can be done through the Inland Revenue or even through NIB, but they're not aware of these things, and so they go, you know, out of business trying to keep afloat and not understanding that there are different pockets of assistance that they can actually access.
Let me see if I heard you correctly. And Tammy, you can help us with this. Is Leo suggesting that there is some degree of flexibility in the NI with Team NIB if a business is struggling, that they can actually come and speak with you about how they can keep up with their payments?
Yes. Many businesses or many persons are not aware. We have what is called an installment agreement for those businesses that may be in what we call arrears. So they are able to come speak with their inspector. Each business has a dedicated individual where they are able to go through if they're taking on new employees, if they're losing employees. This inspector is a person who you will hold hands and be your liaison for the National Insurance Board. So you are able to come in the event you're having some challenges. You are able to advise us. We provide you with a plan per se where you are able to pay about around 40%, and in order to get you current. So we have you pay the 40%, the back amount each month, and looking for you to remain current. And the importance of remaining current, I will say this. We saw how many years ago? That's about 4 years ago now, 3, 4 years ago, when we had COVID. That was the time when many business owners and employees realized the importance of national insurance. And those businesses that would have been in arrears, when we tried to pay the unemployment benefit, we had challenges because the contributions were not there. So to mitigate that, of course, we did some moving some things around. We did some innovative we put some innovation into NIB to to allow many persons to at least be serviced during that time,
And
that
that is
13
and that
weeks.
is very good information, because one of the things that we espouse at the SBDC is encouraging businesses to know what's available
Right.
to them. Leo, you mentioned earlier about incentives. Many small businesses have no idea what incentives may apply to their particular sector.
Mhm.
Among the other things that businesses need to focus on to balance the cost, lower the cost rather, of doing business, because the truth of the matter is we're not the only jurisdiction struggling with increased cost
Of course not.
of operations. So, what would you suggest as some of the things, particularly that small businesses can implement to offset the increase in operating costs?
So I think one of the things is it's obviously going to trigger inflation. And so looking at the cost of your products and services and determining whether the cost mechanism that you used was adequate in the initial onset. Some businesses operate on competitive pricing, which is pricing your products and services at what your competitors are charging. Perhaps over the years, you now moved into more psychological pricing or premium pricing. And so looking at the cost of your goods and services, but also making more, I would say, financially prudent, fiscally prudent choices. So reducing your energy cost, reducing the cost of labor, reducing the cost of doing business on a day-to-day basis, but then also implementing those safe gaps or those safe falls. I went to India earlier this year, and it was for a skills and capacity building conference. And I learned that even as far removed as India is from the Bahamas, our challenges are universal in nature. And so you'll find that there is a skills gap. And so businesses are struggling to find good talent and retain good talent. And so, what are those initiatives that you put in place to retain the talent you have, but also to strengthen the talent that you have, such that, for instance, those instances where there's upselling or cross selling, that can mean more revenue for your business, such that the bottom line is not impacted, but your team has to have that capability or that skill set ingrained in them. And as a business owner, providing that opportunity for that development and that skills growth is key.
We'll pick that up on the other side of the break. We're about to take a short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. When we return, we'll dive further into the conversation with Dr. Roll and Dr. Francis. Stay with us.
Fashion was something that I've always loved. I always, as a child, loved to see women just impeccably dressed. But my thing was drawing the looks and mixing colors, and fashion was in my blood. I put my personality into my passion. Well, the Fabric of Hope was inspired by my father. My father had cancer, and I would go with him to treatments and seeing everybody just look despondent and dreary. And I was like, wow, like God, like, I'm only a fashion designer. Like, what can I do to assist these people? I know God had me to create it to inspire persons with cancer or any illness that there's hope. It's been in my heart for a couple of days to speak to the older women who may feel that I'm 40, what can I do? I'm 50, what can I do? And that's when the fire in us kicks in. So take that idea that God has given you and put it to use. This is where it all begins.
Empowered women empower women.
At Frame Studio, as soon as you enter the door, we showcase any individual that comes in there and make it feel like they are at home. The space itself is 1,800 square foot. Our side wall, which is industry standard also, is 24 feet wide. You can do anything that you can possibly think of. At Frame Studio, under our theme, Now Create More, we look at Frame Studio as a canvas. And any artist knows a canvas is blank, and then you create whatever you want to do, right? So we have where you could rent tools. We even have workstations that people could rent out. To anyone inspiring to do what I've done, what my colleagues have done, or any other journey, I would say to you, don't be afraid. The worst someone can actually tell you is no. So if you have a vision, you have an idea, not everyone will get it. But if you believe in your vision, you believe in your idea, I say go wholeheartedly at it.
For more information about the Creative Entrepreneurs Initiative and the Crafting the Bahamas workshops, email info@sbdcbahamas.com or call us at 461-7232.
Welcome back to the SBDC's Business Blueprint. We're here today with Dr. Leo Roll and Dr. Tammy Francis, and we're delving into how the SBDC has impacted Bahamian businesses and what's next for small business enterprises in the Bahamas. Before we took the break, Leo, you made mention of two very important points. One was the fact that the cost of doing business needs to be verified by business owners, and the other is the skills gap.
Yes.
While on one hand, we do have a skills gap in the workplace, I think we'll all agree with that. But we also have a skills gap among small business owners that is reflected many times in their inability to really know what the actual cost of doing business is. Let's talk a little bit about the impact of that and why small businesses are encouraged to educate themselves more on the fundamentals of running a business.
Absolutely. That's a great question and analogy, Jeff. One of the things I always look at is how is it that I'm able to run my business successfully and look at longevity if I don't understand all that it entails to run this business? I don't know the cost. I don't know how to read my financial statement. I don't know what a balance sheet is. I don't understand income versus expenditure. And so, as a business owner, first developing your own skill set and understanding all of the nuances that are intricately woven into the cost of doing business is important, because at the end of the day, how else will you lead a team who's supposed to look out for the best interests of your organization if you don't understand all of the intricate details that are involved? So that's absolutely imperative to, one, understanding your business, but also protecting your business for the long haul. And when I look at businesses, we talk about this instance of a ready-made business now, where persons are having an exit strategy. While that's good, you have to make sure that the groundwork that you've set in the initial stages are well enough that when you have that exit strategy, there's someone willing and ready and able
True.
to purchase your business, because you've done such a great job
Yes.
at developing, nurturing, and building that business all along.
Very good point, and thank you for that. Tammy, from the NIB's perspective, are there tools within the toolbox of NIB that can help businesses understand more effectively how to run their business, how to educate themselves? Does NIB offer any of those kinds of services to small businesses?
So that's an interesting, interesting question for me. I would like to say yes, and I would say that when we started the unemployment benefit program, it was actually set up in a way where we were to have those training programs available to individuals who would have been unemployed in collaboration with the Department of Labor. Now, I would say that that particular program would have morphed into what we have today, where individuals are pretty much checking off the boxes. One, go to the Department of Labor, get my unemployment card, come to NIB, provide my forms, and I wait. And I get my payment every 2 weeks, and within that 13-week duration, I present myself once again back to the Department of Labor every 4 weeks it is, to ensure that I advise that I'm still in the same predicament and I'm here. But outside of that, the very nature of the unemployment benefit program, for even the other countries within the region and throughout the world, that is a very, very intricate part of the benefit in itself. And I think that is something from our end, as we would have seen, and I said earlier, as we would have seen the importance of that particular benefit. I think that's something that we can actually build on and ensure that in the event, God forbid, in the event anything of that magnitude happens again, we are able to step in and provide individuals with that training. I am a teacher first before anything else. My first job was teaching, and that is, for me, that is ingrained in me. So I'm always trying to. So I would love to. So I could put a plug there. I would love to, camera. I would love to. I would love to be able to, at least work with individuals to get them where they need to be, or even to for those individuals who are looking to change careers. Have those, even if it's not from NIB in itself, at least we are able to facilitate and ensure that individuals have the tools that are needed to put them on that path towards financial freedom once again.
Well, this is really enlightening, because for most Bahamian businesses, in fact, most Bahamians, we only see NIB as a place we deposit it, but it's not a repository, it's not a resource. And I'm happy to hear how that NIB is an actual resource for Bahamian businesses. Now, Leo, you recently announced that the return of the Chamber Institute,
Yes.
which is in support of local businesses, particularly small businesses. Tell us a bit about that and how that program is going to be.
Sure. I smiled when Tammy spoke about her previous life, because I too was a teacher.
There you go.
So I taught English for a very long time, and so I'm very passionate about training, the institution of pedagogy. And one of the things immediately since joining the chamber was realizing, and especially from the surveys that we get from our members, realizing that understanding how business works, understanding those nuances like customer service, like sales, is important. And so we partnered with the International Business and Training Association to deliver two professional development designations, which are the Customer Service and Sales Certified Business Professional suite of courses. What that does is it allows for two of the very important areas of understanding and building your business to be addressed. What's unique about it is that we can do it from both sides of the coin. We can help those persons who are coming to that course to understand their role in customer service and sales, but representing the employer in this instance, we can also help them to understand, well, here's why this is important for the employer. Here's why this is important for the organization for which you work. And so they get both sides of the coin through that one interaction.
Excellent. This is refreshing because we're hearing that both institutions have a very different perspective. And so it certainly has been a quite interesting discussion and very insightful conversation. Thank you both. When we come back from our commercial break, we'll be getting into our mentorship minute with Ariel Pinder.
Hi, I'm Kizzy Hanna, and I am the CEO of Nail Envy Salon Studio and Nail Envy Academy. My business offers education for beginner level, intermediate, and advanced level nail classes for those persons who would like to become nail technicians and continue that education for those persons that are in the professional atmosphere already. So our curriculum has already been vetted and approved by the National Accreditation and Equivalency Council of the Bahamas. What distinguishes Nail Envy Academy from the competitors, we are really focused on relaying our information in a proper and conducive environment, making sure that our students are getting that one-on-one attention that is needed to be able to send them out into the field and be able to be successful in their occupation. I am so passionate about what I do because I want young women to know that not everyone has to have tertiary education. You can throw your whole self at something and bring a difference to your industry.
For more information about the Creative Entrepreneurs Initiative and the Crafting the Bahamas workshops, email info@sbdcbahamas.com or call us at 461-7232.
Today we had the culmination of the Women Entrepreneurs Initiative in a press conference. We were here to celebrate 83 women who were awarded grant funding up to $10,000 each. Those 83 recipients totaling a grant funding over $600,000 for their concept, their business, whether it is starting or it is expanding. And so we've had recipients across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and many of the Family Islands. And so we were excited to celebrate them. We were honored to have members of our SBDC team, members of the board, particularly and most special honored guest, Mrs. Anne-Marie Davis, who made sure that it was a priority within her schedule to celebrate with us and all of the grant recipients here today.
To learn more about the Women Entrepreneurs Initiative, visit our website or contact us at 461-7232. And remember, empowered women empower women.
Since a young girl, I always loved watching the women come in and get their hair done, commune together with everybody. I grew a great appreciation for that. I always had a great love for making women feel beautiful and just the atmosphere of a beauty salon. Hi, my name is Asia Cartwright and I'm a hairstylist at the Glow Bar in Old Fort Bay. I enjoyed accounting. I did it professionally for a few years. After the pandemic, I decided to take a leap of faith, go off to school in Atlanta at Aveda Institute to learn the science behind hair because I realized this is my passion. This is something that I really wanted to do, but I wanted to understand the real depth of, okay, why does hair do this? Why is it responding this way? What do I need to do to help someone get on their best hair journeys? It's not been easy. When it's fueled by passion, you always have an extra push of motivation to just try harder. It's being fueled from your heart space. I enjoy making women feel beautiful. I enjoy being a listening ear. It's more than hair, it's like therapy. We all leave leaving lighter. For women that are facing some type of fear that want to change their path and careers, I would say do it. I trusted God because I don't feel like He would have given me the vision and the dreams if it wasn't for me. It doesn't matter what no one says, it doesn't matter, how it looks from the outside, and I'm going to give it my all, and that's what I do.
To learn more about the Women Entrepreneurs Initiative, Visit our website or contact us at 461-7232. And remember, empowered women empower women.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Hi, guys. My name is Ariel Pinder, and I am your host for the Mentorship Minute. Today, let's talk about why entrepreneurs should consider collaborating with the Small Business Development Center for funding assistance rather than going directly to financial institutions. One major advantage of working with the Small Business Development Center is the strong relationships we've built with various financial institutions. This network can be incredibly valuable for entrepreneurs seeking funding. Plus, the SBDC offers expert guidance throughout the business plan process, ensuring that your application meets the specific requirements and risk appetites of financial institutions. From helping you create a comprehensive business plan to providing writers and mentors who support you through the process, the Small Business Development Center enhances your chances of success. By leveraging our knowledge and connections, you can streamline your application process and improve your likelihood of securing the funding you need. For more details on how we can assist you, visit our website or reach out to our team. Partner with the Small Business Development Center and boost your business's potential.
As we begin to wrap up this episode, I'd allow each of our guests to give us your final thoughts. So I'll start with you, Tammy.
While we at the National Insurance Board understand that there were a lot of reservations with regards to our increasing the contribution rate, I want to assure the small business owners, medium-sized business owners, and the general public that at the board, we want to ensure that at the end of the day, when we retire or, God forbid, something happens, we fall ill, I want you all to know that at the National Insurance Board, we are ready to ensure that you are taken care of. One thing that at the board that I see is lacking is that we provide a whole lot of data. And I think the data at the National Insurance Board can assist not only the board, but can assist the country in making some necessary decisions to ensure that the Bahamas is a place that we want to live in. And at the end of the day, NIB, just know that we are here for you.
Okay, thank you. Leo?
Thank you. So, Jeff, I think one of the biggest things I would like to leave the general public is the notion that have a second look at the chamber. We are evolving. I stand on the heels or the shoulders of a compendium of CEOs as well as chairmen. And have we always got it right? No. Is there room for us to do more? Yes. But come to the table. Have a conversation with us. Help us to help you and help us to shape the trajectory of the small business landscape. We have a number of exciting initiatives, partnerships that we have on stream, and working with organizations that can help to strengthen and develop the business landscape in the country.
Well, thank you both. This has certainly been a very refreshing conversation where we've gotten to see both institutions from a very different perspective. And so a big thank you to Dr. Leo Roll and Dr. Tammy Francis for their insights on the unexpected yet relevant expenses while doing business in the Bahamas. Thank you for joining us on the SBDC's Business Blueprint. Until next time, keep striving for success and stay engaged with the vital conversations that shape our community. We'll see you again soon.